Good evening and happy Saturday. Tonight I'm going. I know I usually do Lego on Saturday, but my space is a mess right now, and I can't really go on camera right now. I'm dealing with some kind of gross healing processes right now, so let's just play games tonight. I want to play. I want to continue playing the zoo game we started last week. We finished the first tutorial scenario in which we learned how to build and maintain exhibits. But there's other. But then we saw that the second scenario is also labeled tutorial. So tonight I want to try and play through any remaining tutorial scenarios, and then we'll see how we feel and go from there. Let's get right into the game. So I've switched over to the game cam, and we will go into the scenario mode. We will go into. So it looks like this. We're go. The second scenario is labeled tutorial. Okay. So it looks like there's a whole bunch of scenario zoos we can do for practice once we finish the tutorials. So it looks like the second tutorial zoo is called the Madagascan Simian Conservation Project. Simian, that means apes. We're going to see the primates tonight. Always on easy mode. We're still learning the game. It's a bit later than I wanted to start. I wanted to start about an hour ago, but I got backed up with other things. I really can't stay up too late tonight, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how much we can play, how much zoo we can build tonight. And it's fitting that a random loading screen animal is a primate, considering that's what this zoo is apparently going to be. Because I know the loading screen the loading screen animal we learned last time is randomized. Tomorrow we got Junior's birthday party, so I can't stay up too late.
Welcome to Madagascar. It's quite the change of scenery from dreary old England, huh? Apart from the weather, I suppose. They don't call these places rainforests for nothing. The zoo you'll be working in is an ape sanctuary where we're doing vitally important conservation work. Not just for apes, but for all kinds of species. But apes, well, apes are some of the closest relatives to humans there are. And yet, the way the world treats them is like, well, very much like some of us treat our actual relatives.
The cutscene is still a little choppy, but it's functional. It's better than last time.
Anyway, that's why I'm determined that our operation here does some good. If we can all leave some part of the world in a better state than we found it, we'll have lived lives worth living. And speaking of states, I have a horrible feeling I left the house in the right one. When I get back, I expect my life won't be worth living at all.
This one does look like it's a pretty zoo. This one should be fun to play.
What do you think of Madagascar then? Bit warm for my taste, to be honest. Anyway, this is Bernie's primate sanctuary. It's not just primates, though. We've got all sorts of animals. So why don't we go and have a look at some of them, eh? We'll start by taking a look at the red-ruffed lemurs. They're the ones that look like they should be in a Shakespeare play. Come on, let's head over to them.
Lemurs! I like lemurs. Lemurs are kind of cute. First, let's go to overhead. And then let's go over to the lemurs.
Red-ruffed lemurs are found in the rainforests of Masoala. That's in northeast Madagascar. They can actually live anywhere from 15 up to 25 years. Fancy that, eh? Okay, when you're ready, let's go find our Bornean orangutans.
But first, we have to do Animal Cam, because this is Planet Zoo. Alright, that's enough watching the lemur play for now. We have zoos to fix. Alright, let's find the highlighted area. It's over there. Well, we're in the highlighted area.
The Bornean orangutan is such a marvellous creature. They're always a big favourite at any zoo they feature in, and they're also the biggest tree-dwelling animal on the planet. Assuming you don't count any lions that got stuck up one. Oh, why don't you take a better look at them? Open up their information panel and go into the animal camera. Aren't they just incredible? When you're ready, let's go and have a look-see at some of our beautiful bonobos. They're quite the characters.
Let's leave the orangutans for now, because we have to go see bonobos.
Oh dear! It looks like we've arrived just in time. One of the habitat's barriers has collapsed. And wouldn't you know it, one of the bonobos has made a run for it. We'll need to catch them. But before we do, we should box up the other bonobos to stop them escaping too. Select the habitat boundary to bring up the habitat information panel. Good. Now open the Animals tab. And click on Box All Animals to box up the remaining bonobos. Now, we'll need a vet to recapture that escaped bonobo, but it seems our last one left to do some research in the wild. Not an ideal situation. So, we'll need to hire a replacement sharpish. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area. You can find all of your staff in here, but there's no time to go looking at their particulars at the moment. Hire a vet. Now, click on one of the paths to place the vet in your zoo. Great, now let's deal with our escapee before they can cause too much havoc. Use the animal alerts to jump to the escaped bonobo. And then click on the Call Vet button to call the vet over to capture it. Okay, that's a relief. So while the vet deals with our bonobo friend, let's go fix up their habitat so they can't escape again. Head back over there. As you can see, the barrier's collapsed. Someone's taken their eye off the ball, obviously. Let's get this one replaced. Select the barrier and then we'll edit it. Delete the broken section of barrier and replace it with a brand spanking new one. Good. Now that we've done that, we need to make sure to add climb-proof barriers to the top. That way the bonobos won't be able to climb out. Just make sure you've got the correct piece of barrier selected when you do that. Okay, so go into the options section and select which side the climb-proof barrier needs to go on. And don't get it wrong. We're more worried about bonobos climbing out than guests climbing in. Nicely done. And I think it's high time we unbox those bonobos, wouldn't you say? The poor mites will get sad if we leave them in there for too long. Select the habitat barrier to bring up the habitat information panel again. And then open the Animals tab. And finally, click on Unbox All Animals to let them out. I expect some of them are fair bursting for the toilet. It turns out that as well as the old vet leaving, the zoo's mechanics did too. We'll need to hire a couple of new ones so we can help stop any more breakouts. You see, mechanics do all sorts of helpful things around the zoo, but one of their most important jobs is taking care of the habitat barriers. Without mechanics around to repair them, the barriers will crack, crumble, and fall down. And before you know it, we'll be overrun with escaped animals. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area again.
But before we do, we haven't looked at the bonobos yet, so cam time. It's kind of pretty. These are some nice monkey creatures.
Hire a mechanic and then click on a path to place them in the zoo.
Alright, let's find our way to a path. We do have a lot of staff already, it looks like. There's 7 different staff types in this game. There were only like 3 in the base game and 6 total in the old zoo game. We need mechanics, right? We have vets, we have keepers. I know they said put in 2, but I'm actually going to put 3 in. Wrong one.
And then click on the path again to hire a second mechanic. As you can see, you don't have to go back into staff management if you're hiring lots of the same type of staff member. Gosh, we have been busy, haven't we? Good work there. I'm off for a cuppa. Oh, I think Bernie wants a word with you.
Okay, well, if you want...
Oh,
There we go.
I hear you had a bit of an issue with an escaped bonobo. The main thing is that you dealt with it swiftly, and more importantly, without the animal stealing someone's clothes, putting them on, and then walking out of the front gate.
You see, another key responsibility for our vets is animal research. Researching animals allows vets to unlock new enrichment items, additional information for our education resources, enhanced breeding programs, and improvements to food quality. The animal's food, not the vet's. It'll take more than a research grant to improve the staff canteen. Anyway, as you can see, research is a key part of running your zoo. In order for a vet to undertake research, they require a research centre. And once again, that's something that this zoo is missing. So let's build one. I've marked out an area for you to put it. Now, You've probably noticed that there's already a building where I want you to build the research centre. Don't worry. You see, the building that's currently there is actually a hollow shell, so we're able to place our new building inside of it. If you select the research centre for placement and then hover over the shell, you'll see that it asks if you want to add the research centre to the existing building. Okay, click to add it to the building. Oh, but that won't place it in just yet, though. First, we'll need to rotate our research centre so it automatically connects to the path when we place it.
Alright, where's the research center? There it is. What did I just do?
Right, splendid work. Now that we have a brand spanking new research centre, we can give our vets something to do in there. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting that the vets will only do research when they're not required to do any other jobs. That said, you can change what jobs a vet does via their information panel. But let's not worry about that just now. So, let's get our vet researching ring-tailed lemurs. Go into the zoo section and select Vet Research. Here, you can see a list of all the animals present in your zoo, and also all the potential diseases that can occur. Now, drag and drop your vet onto the ring-tailed lemur to start their research. Actually, thinking about it, I'm not sure we've got any education boards or speakers by the lemur's habitat. Let's head over there and add some, so our guests can learn all about the furry little delights.
Locate the highlighted area.
First off, let's pop down 2 education boards. Place them on the habitat barriers at a height that guests can see, or, if you like, pop them down on a stand.
education. Or oh, there's a lot of choices here. No, that's not what we want.
Okay, now that they've been put into position, we have to tell them what animal to display information about. Select one of the education boards to bring up its information panel. And from the drop-down list, select ring-tailed lemur. Although I'm sure that last part was obvious. When you link an education board or a speaker to an animal, you need to make sure that said animal is close by. If it isn't, the guests will get confused and won't learn as much. Okay, now that we've done the education boards, let's pop down a pair of speakers. Speakers play audio to the guests so they can learn while they look at the animals, instead of having to go through the laborious process of reading. Oh, one thing to bear in mind is that it's important not to put the speakers too close together. If you do, the guests won't be able to understand what's being said. Now we simply need to link the speakers to the ring-tailed lemurs, just like you did with the education boards. Fantastic. Oh, it's worth remembering that education boards and speakers both need power to work. They won't do much good without it. Oh, it looks as though our vet has completed their research on ring-tailed lemurs. We'll need to collect the results. We can do that by clicking on the notification or by going back into the vet research area.
Well, that's a lot of diseases.
Go on, collect your research rewards. Just so you know, vets will continue to research an animal even after successfully completing a research level. I suppose when you're in the zone, you're in the zone. Well, now that we've enriched the lives of our guests, let's enrich the lives of our ring-tailed lemurs. Some animals, like lemurs, will have a climbing need. That means they have a requirement for a certain amount of climbing space, and you can fulfill that requirement by building them a climbing frame. Let's find out how much more climbing space our lemur friends need, shall we? Select one of them and bring up their information panel. Next, click on the Terrain tab. Now, as you can see, the lemurs need quite a lot more climbing space. But as it happens, I've already got a climbing frame blueprint built for you. So you can either pop that down or build one yourself from scratch. By the way, it's not always just climbing needs that you have to worry about. Other animals might need a certain amount of water in their habitat so they can go for a swim. They certainly do keep us on our toes.
Alright, this is going well so far, I think.
Oh, that's a great climbing frame for them. They're going to absolutely love it. Do you know what would make them even happier, though? Nicer food. But that's true of all of us, though, isn't it?
Alright, tell us how to do that. Please and thank you. She seems to have delayed chatting this tonight. She was prompt the last time we played. I'm not sure why she's being so slow today.
You can unlock better quality food for animals through research. Luckily, we've already unlocked some for the lemurs, so all that remains is to make sure they get served it from now on.
Alright, tell us how, please.
Let's bring up the habitat information panel by selecting the lemur habitat. Lovely. Now select the Animals tab. So, a new climbing frame and better food. Oh, you've really spoilt those lemurs rotten. Now, I think it's time we looked at one of the zoo's most important responsibilities, releasing animals into the wild. You see, when we feel an animal is ready, we can release them into the wild. But what makes an animal a good candidate for release? Well, their age is an important factor. I mean, we can't release an animal that's a juvenile, just as we can't release one that's gotten too old.
Alright, so where do I go to do this release? Don't know why she's being so
They'll
slow
also
right
need
now.
to be fertile. After all, the idea is to repopulate the wild, so the best candidates will have a high fertility gene. And together, the age and fertility of a candidate will determine how many conservation credits will be rewarded when we release them.
Alright, tell me what I need to do, please.
Now, conservation credits are vitally important. They're the lifeblood of your zoo, because earning them allows you to adopt even more animals. And what's more, the animals you can adopt will be of a higher quality. So, with that in mind, let's pop over to our orangutan habitat.
Is one of the monkeys playing piano? Weird.
Okay, I'd like you to find Agang, the Bornean orangutan in the habitat, and select him, please. You can either click through each orangutan in turn, or select the habitat barrier, go to the animals tab in the habitat information panel, and find him in the animals list. I know it's sad to see him go, but he'll be happy out in the wild. And he's a wonderful candidate for release, young, strong, and fertile. Excellent work there. You've definitely got potential, you know.
Ooh, we get to build some exhibits to finish out the scenario.
Ah, I see you've been doing some homework. Although it hardly seems like work when you're learning about something as adorable as a ring-tailed lemur. I imagine I'd have got much better grades at school if there'd been less algebra and more aldebra. Tortoises.
We haven't done cam in a while, but I kind of want to wrap up the
So far,
scenario.
we've done a lot of work with habitat animals, but now it's time to learn all about exhibit animals. Let's build a brand new exhibit. I've marked an area for our new exhibit. How about we head over there? Lovely. Now let's build a new exhibit in the gap that's been left. Just add it to the building like we did with the research centre earlier, then pop it into the gap. Perfect. The next thing to do is adopt an exhibit animal to go in there. How about a Gila monster? Open up the exhibit trading section and adopt one.
What I'm trying to get. Like I said, the mouse has gone funky. Like I said last time we played this, my mouse has gone a bit funky. That's what that little hesitation was. But let's go ahead and do this now.
Just as we do with habitat animals, we need to send the Gila monster to the exhibit. Click on the exhibit to send it there. When you send an animal to an exhibit, it'll automatically be given the correct setup. But that doesn't mean it's completely ready for them. So let's finish it off. We'll start by adding some enrichment items. Click on the exhibit to bring up its information panel. Good. Now click on the Layout tab. Oh, well, it looks like we've only got the enrichment level 1 items unlocked at the moment. Never mind, let's turn on at least one of them for the Gila monster. As I'm sure you know by now, you can unlock more enrichment levels by having one of your vets do some research. Now we'll also need to set the temperature and humidity in the exhibit. These are vitally important for keeping our Gila monster happy and comfortable. Click on the Climate tab.
Alright, I'm in the Climate tab. Tell me what I need to do. Please.
Here you can see the Gila monster's desired temperature and humidity. You can change both of these by adjusting the dials below. Make sure it's going to be nice and cozy.
Alright, I think this is doing it.
That's the ticket. And the last thing we need to look at is setting up the different windows. So click on the Windows tab.
Oh, you can add your own images to backgrounds? Interesting. We'll have to try that in MegaZoo.
You can edit and customize any of the windows on an exhibit. A window can be closed and blank, or have a two-dimensional background, or even a three-dimensional background on it. Why don't you have a play around with the options? There's also an exhibit education board. Pop them down near exhibits to teach your guests about them. Let's add one now. Just like the education boards and speakers we put down for the ring-tailed lemurs, you'll need to link these to the Gila monster. Go on.
So that's done.
Lovely stuff. Now our guests can learn all about our venomous friend here.
Okay. What's left to do here?
Right, now, I've got a bit of a big job for you. I need you to increase the number of species in the zoo. You'll probably want to adopt both habitat and exhibit animals to do so, which will mean building plenty of new habitats and exhibits for them. Go on, off you pop. I'll check in with you when you're almost done.
Okay. Exhibits are a little bit easier to set up, so I think I'm gonna start there. We need 3 more species to meet the requirement, I think. Let's find a nice open space to set up an exhibit. Maybe here at this crossroads. We can get frogs. We already have the iguana. We have a snail. We already have a cockroach. So we'll do the frogs and we'll do the snail, which means we only have to build 1 full habitat. It won't let me put it on this path up here. Let's find another place where we're near path. How about over here? The mouse is going funky on me again. I'm trying to find a place for this. It's too wide for that bit of path. Did I just do that incorrectly? It is, I got a Gila monster by accident. We want the frogs. Yeah, I think these match better. We'll go with that one. Alright, that's good enough. I don't have any enrichment for them. But looks like otherwise they're kind of happy. So we'll leave them there. Can I cram another exhibit down here in this little area? Maybe. That little patch of land might not quite be big enough. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. Alright, let's find another little patch of land that's on the ground level of the pathing. And then we'll put up our little snail exhibit. And then we have to build a full habitat for our last animal. And these trees keep getting in the way of me being able to see what I'm doing. Let's see if we can build some pathing up to there. Wow. Interesting. There's lots of different choices in here. Ah, here's paths. Alright, let's build our snail exhibit. I don't think anyone's going to go out of their way to come see these snails, honestly, but that's what training is for. Oh, people are coming to see the snails. That I'm feeling a little better about the snails now. Now let's make the exhibit suitable for them. Alright, that's set up. Let's do climate. Okay, the frogs are set up. We need to build a habitat now. Let's clear some space over here, and I'll build a big barrier where we've built this little extension here. But let's figure out which animal we want to put in. Chimpanzees or tapir? We'll do the tape here. Obviously, we have to wait for the animal before we can see what it needs, but let's go ahead and start some basics. First of all, the barrier intersects a hill, so let's raise the height quite a bit.
My, you have been busy, haven't you? Splendid! But now that you've adopted all these lovely new species, we need to make sure they're nice and happy. So let's get the average welfare across the zoo nice and high, shall we? And by we, I mean you. Go on, get to it.
Well, apparently we don't have to actually finish up this exhibit because we've completed the objective. Let's just see if she talks one more time to reflect that. Because the other averages were already so high, it must have pulled this one up enough to win.
Lovely job there. You should be proud of yourself. Not a...
Well, we cut her off. That's okay. Well, we completed the second part of the tutorial. Now we can build exhibits completely from scratch. And we also learned about research, maintenance, and other things. And education, of course. Let's see if the next scenario is also marked tutorial. We're going to go ahead and play that one too. But I'm going to take, once I see what we have to do. It is listed as a tutorial. It looks like the next park is going to feature pandas. But before we actually play that, I'm going to take a very quick break. Actually, I'm kind of enjoying scenario play. I think we're going to do scenario play. I think we're going to play through all the scenarios before we actually start MegaZoo. We should have several weeks to months of content out of this game. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to start this next tutorial scenario in a few minutes. I'll see you shortly. Okay, I'm back, so let's go ahead and do this last tutorial. Am I working? I'm testing my audio real quick. Hold on, I think I'm having audio issues. Let me fix this real quick and then we'll get started. Okay, testing, testing. Can the stream hear me? Hmm. Okay, testing, testing. Can the stream hear me? Okay, I think we're back up. All right. Let's get going with this panda park. Oh, and I Googled, and it looks like scenario rewards are basically just special statues. So I don't think we're going to worry about scenarios after completing the tutorials. I think next time we stream this game, we'll go ahead and get started with MegaZoo 2. So we're going to go to Panda Park now. We got a lion as a random loading animal this time, it looks like. But it's taking a lot. There we go. We're still choppy on the cutscenes, though. That's a problem.
Ah, pandas. They're my daughter's favorite animal. I think it's fair to say that if ever there was an animal which has captured the public's imagination, it's pandas. Well, that's assuming you ignore cats and dogs, obviously. It'll take more than a cute bear to knock them off of the top spot. Oh, but did you know? Thanks to the incredible conservation work that's being done in China and around the world, pandas are no longer endangered. Amazing! That said, they're still considered vulnerable. So, this zoo is extraordinarily lucky and honored to be part of that conservation effort. It really speaks to our reputation, a reputation that you're going to be in charge of maintaining, along with all the general maintaining too. I really can tell you how important the welfare of those pandas is. Oh, wait, I can. It is vitally important. The eyes of the world are on you, my friend. Although, perhaps more pressingly, the eyes of Nancy are on you too.
Welcome to China. This is Bernie's brand new Panda Celebration Zoo. So new, in fact, that it's not quite finished, but we'll deal with that later. First, let's take a tour of the zoo. Obviously, the giant pandas are the main attraction for this zoo, and luckily for us, we have one which was born just a few days ago. Let's go and have a look at it. Go on, don't be shy. Select the panda cub. And click on the camera to enter animal camera mode.
Well, which one's the cub? This one, maybe? Okay, so apparently you can't act. Oh, yes, you can. There we go. We got there. How cute.
Oh, doesn't it just warm the cockles of your heart? So cute! Did you know that giant pandas, or Ailuropoda melaleuca for being formal, are the only entirely herbivorous bears? They can actually eat up to 38 kilos of bamboo a day. Not that surprising, given that they'll spend up to 14 hours a day chomping away. I don't imagine this little fluff ball has that kind of appetite yet, though. Oh no. I just got word from one of our keepers that a sable antelope was placed into a habitat without going through quarantine first, and that they're displaying signs of disease. We'll have to move them into quarantine to stop the infection from spreading to the other animals. To do that, go to the highlighted habitat, find the infected animal, and then select them to bring up their information panel.
Okay. Did that panda just poop while I was listening to the tutorial information?
Good. Now click move and then transfer them into quarantine. I've highlighted the quarantine facility in the zoo for you.
One of these is sick. Alright, how do I get them into quarantine? Alright. I guess we have to call the vet first. Where is the quarantine?
Good. Now click move and then transfer them into quarantine. I've highlighted the quarantine facility in the zoo for you.
Okay, all the way over there. Alright, that does it.
Phew. That's a relief. Now that we've stopped the infection from spreading any further, we need to build a vet surgery so the antelope can be treated and then returned to his habitat. I've already highlighted where I'd like you to build it, so why don't we head over there? In order to build the vet surgery, click on Facilities, Staff Facilities, and then Vet Surgeries.
Alright, this is frustrating. Okay. Why does it say invalid rotation?
That's the job. Vet surgeries play a very important role in a zoo, as they're the only places that vets can treat the animals. Once there's room for the antelope, the vet will pick them up from quarantine and bring them to the surgery. Yes, diseases can spread through a habitat quite easily, especially if the water inside it isn't being cleaned regularly. As it happens, I just got a report that one of our water treatment facilities has broken down and the water in the flamingo and saltwater crocodile habitats has gotten dirty. I've highlighted the water treatment facility for you, so you should go and check it out. Click on the water treatment facility to bring up its information panel. Yes, I don't think you need a degree in mechanics to tell that this thing's thoroughly banjaxed. Click Call Mechanic to get them to come over and fix it for us. So, just to explain, water treatment facilities work in a similar manner to power sources, in that they have a radius of influence around them. That means any body of water which is even partly within that radius will be cleaned automatically. Also, like power sources, if they get damaged, that radius of influence will shrink, meaning that it might stop cleaning water sources which were only just within its reach. If you want to check how much of your zoo is covered by your water treatment facilities, then there's a heat map you can use to see the coverage. That way, you can quickly spot problem areas and rectify the issue.
Or you can put your staff on camera as well. Interesting.
Good work. Now that the water treatment facility has been repaired, the water will be cleaned up in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. You can also use mechanics to repair power facilities, transport rides, bins, benches, signs, and, as you already know, habitat barriers. Now, I'll be honest, I'm still a little worried about that disease scare we had, so I think we should do some research into it. Doing research into a disease can help prevent future outbreaks of it. And even if we do have an outbreak, it'll make the disease much less potent. I'd like you to start some research into bordetellosis. Disease research can be found in vet research, so head over to your research centre and get one of the vets researching it. Lovely job. Once that research is complete, I expect we'll send that disease packing in no time.
Whew! That was a close run thing with those antelopes. I dread to think what might have happened if you hadn't got them into quarantine as quickly as you did. Fast thinking there. We had a horrible outbreak of viral gastroenteritis here at Goodwin House. Although, luckily, that was just limited to me and my wife.
Right. Now that we've got all our urgent tasks in hand, we can start to focus on the guests and improving their time in the park. You see, you can also do research into new and improved guest facilities, transport rides, as well as new types of barrier and other things via the workshop. I've highlighted the workshop for you, so head over there, select it, and then click on View Workshop. And finally, assign a mechanic to research souvenir shops by dragging and dropping them onto it. I can't wait to see what they come up with. Great stuff. That research will take a little while, so let's have a look at something else in the meantime. Because we've had some good news. It turns out that we're allowed to adopt more giant pandas. The authorities have given us 3 females to help with our breeding program. Even so, I'm sure you know how notoriously difficult it is to get pandas to breed, so we'll have to be patient. Our current giant panda habitat is full to the brim, but luckily we've already got another habitat ready to go. But before we move our new pandas in, they'll need to go through quarantine. Of course, we can't do that until we've accepted them. So open up animal trading and go into the animal reward section.
Interesting. Okay, so let's go here.
Just click transfer to animal storage next to each of the pandas and then they'll be sent there.
Excuse me a moment. Sorry about that. My brother decided to come home from work and immediately start an argument. But we're not going to worry about that now.
Finally, we can send them from animal storage to quarantine. To do that, just select them in animal storage, then click send to zoo, and then click on the quarantine facility in the zoo. Don't worry, I've highlighted it for you so you can find it easily. While we wait for them to clear quarantine, you should set up their new habitat so they feel at home in there. I'll also need you to bring over one of the male pandas from our other habitat, because without him, we're not going to have much of a breeding program, are we? So go on, move him over and get everything set up for your pandas.
Alright, where's this other habitat? So there's the other. Alright, so let's start setting up this other panda. So we've got two panda habitats in this little zoo that we're building up here. So we need a feeding station. Oh, I didn't even know you could filter by species. This will come in handy. Alright, what do we need? We need food enrichment, toy enrichment. We'll give them some chimes to play with. And how about a nice little drum? And a couple more little toys around here. We need to do terrain and plants now. We only want Asian trees in here. Well, what habitat are we looking for exactly? So we want taiga and temperate. We have lots of choices here. We need more plants. These things just can't get satisfied, can they? So I guess we just gotta keep placing trees until it tells us we have enough trees in this little panda forest. Okay, that tree gave us a big jump of percentage. But I like to have a little variety.
Good news. Our new female pandas have been given a clean bill of health. You'd best move them into the new habitat so they can settle in. And I hope you've made their habitat as comfy as possible, because animals will only breed if they're happy.
Why isn't it letting me move them? Why does it say invalid destination? Oh, because I haven't moved into the exhibit, apparently. Oh, it wants me to actually physically go to quarantine, even though there's shorthand ways of doing the task. I don't care about you, but now that it's giving us the option, I am doing the shorthand way of doing this. Alright, that does it.
Oh, bless. I think they'll be really happy in there. Fingers crossed we'll see some lovely new cubs sooner rather than later. Right. While they're being delivered, we'd better get on with something else. Oh, dear me. There's never any time to rest when you're running a zoo, is there? Well, unless you hit the pause button. Okay, I think it's time I taught you all about work zones. I know, they don't sound as interesting as the animals, but trust me, they're ever so useful. You see, work zones are a way of making sure that your staff concentrate on specific habitats or tasks within the zoo, so they aren't wandering off elsewhere when it's time to feed the animals or the like. So let's start by creating a new work zone and then assigning a keeper to it so that they know to look after the new pandas. To do that, go into the zoo section, then click on staff and then work zones. Now click on new work zone. To set up your new work zone, I'll need you to select the highlighted habitat gate, staff room and keeper hut. Oh, and don't forget to name it something useful. Once you're done, just go ahead and exit the work zone creator. Now let's hire a new keeper and assign them to our new work zone. We don't want them getting distracted by other goings-on in the zoo. Go on, hire one. Then click on your new keeper to bring up their information panel and go to their employment tab. At the bottom, you can assign them to your new work zone from the drop-down menu. Now that we've got our lovely new Just a Memento shop designed, you should build one of them near the zoo's exit. That way the guests won't miss it on their way out and we won't miss out on their money.
Hmm. Just a memento. I'm not trying to modify terrain. I'm just trying to place a building. Why is it not working? Is there a simpler version of the restaurant? Maybe it wants me to put this version of the shop in instead.
Oh, that's ever so wonderful, that is. Anyway, I'm just off for a moment, but I'm sure I'll have some more jobs for you to look at shortly.
So we just got our silver, so we just have a few objectives left and we're done with the tutorials.
Aw, those pandas look just adorable. I can see why people keep foolishly forgetting that they're wild bears. And good work on that new gift shop branding. Just a memento. Very clever. Much better than our old overpriced gifts branding. I'm all for truth in advertising, but it was perhaps a little on the nose.
Back as promised. Right, I'd like you to increase the number of different species in the zoo. Now, you can find out what species are already in your zoo by going into the zoo section and then into the animals area. And if If you're wondering how you're going to fit them all in, then mixed species habitats are a great way to save space and create interesting habitats. Just make sure to check the Zoopedia to find out which species enjoy living together. E.g., don't mix lions with antelopes.
Maybe we'll start with some exhibit animals for some quicker constructions. We have a boa constrictor we can do. We have a spider. We have a couple different snakes we can do. None of which are already in. We can do a scorpion. Interesting. We can fulfill our whole requirement here. We can fulfill our whole requirement using exhibit animals. That's a good thing. They'll go up quicker. We'll do a frog. We'll do one snake. We'll do the frog. Maybe one of the spiders, I think, or the scorpion. But the exhibit edges go right up to the edges of the paths. Let's see if I can. We'll make a path offshoot over here at the edge, I think. Let's delete some of these trees and clear space for a row of 3 little exhibit habitats. Alright, now let's set this up. Hmm. Maybe we'll have to put it on this side. I can see Brett's running late tonight. He's not on yet. So it's a good thing we're running a bit later than I anticipated. Alright. Okay, let's start this up. We'll start with these cool looking scorpions. Except they're going to be unable to breed. So let's start with the frogs actually. These nice golden poison frogs. We're going to make one more keeper and create a new work zone. Alright, that's the entrance there. We need to find a staff room, obviously. Okay, so the new keeper has been assigned, and we can go back and finish building these 3 exhibits. Alright, let's come over here and work on these next 2 exhibits. We'll do the Beatles. Alright, it's already at correct climate. And now let's pick an animal for this last exhibit. We'll do the spiders.
I'm sure you know by now how to make your animals happy, so you'd best get that sorted before the inspector gets here. Sorry, did I not mention there was an inspector coming? Oh dear. Looks like you've got everything humming away nicely. Well done. Oh, well, it seems that with our new pandas and other species, we've attracted lots and lots of new guests. Let's work on making sure those guests are kept happy. That means making sure they have great views of the animals, lots of places to buy food and drink, and, well, lots of places to get rid of food and drink. Toilets. You should think carefully about where to put your guest facilities, though. For instance, don't put all of the food shops in the same place. Just look at how the guests are distributed around the park and put your facilities where they'll be needed the most. As long as you remember to pay attention to what the guests are thinking, you'll soon have a handle on what everyone wants.
Climate's already at correct. Okay, what do we have to do next? Okay, we have to place a whole bunch of stuff here. Chief Beef, Cosmic Cow Milkshake, Information Center, toilet block, bins and benches. Here's a big open area we can use. We need toilet, 5 bins, 5 benches. Alright, we need to solve the power issues.
Oh, sounds like the inspector's almost here. Now, I fully expect you to pass with flying colours. Anything less, and I might have to organise a little job exchange scheme for you with whoever's mucking out the pandas.
Oh, jeez. We're waiting for the zoo inspector. That's what's going on now, apparently. We built up a little rest area over there. Let's add a staff path, obviously. Hmm. How do we get the inspector to come in? Because I want to finish this up. Okay, so it looks like he is in fact walking around, checking out the checking out the place. Let's speed this bit up, shall we? Because we have no further objectives right now. So we're gonna watch him run around the zoo. Or her, maybe? So there's no way to speed up this objective other than speeding up game time itself. She's writing in the notebook. She's moving again. She has 4 more habitats to look at. I'm sorry we haven't done any animal cam on this exhibit. I just wanted to get the tutorial done. I'm gonna go text Brett because I don't see him on yet. And he said he was streaming tonight. Because if he's canceled his stream, I'm gonna have to pick someone else to raid into. So while the inspector does her thing, I'm gonna go over there and try to text him and see what's going on. Alright. Looks like the inspector is still going through.
Oh, goodness. You know, I really can't believe just how much you've come on during our time together. It goes to show, Bernie's got a keen eye for talent. Oh, and speaking of Bernie, he's not finished with you yet. He's got a new job for you in Canada. I get the feeling that you'd best pack a warm coat. Oh, listen, it's been wonderful getting to know you, and I'm sure we'll meet again. But in the meantime, good luck.
Okay, so the sandbox mode for free play I've read has unlimited money and everything unlocked. There's no challenge in that. I want there to be some scale of the zoo evolving over time. So we'll probably have to pick one of the there's probably a mode that lets us do that, but we'll figure out next time. Apparently Brett's getting ready to start.
I've been told that there were smiles on the faces of all of the guests. That's a real testament to the hard work you've put into this place. And if anything, I hear the animals look even happier. Although, in all honesty, it's hard to tell with the pandas. They're so, enigmatic.
Refreshing because Brett should be up any moment is what he texted me back, so we'll probably land in his splash screen if he's just starting now though.
I'm told that Lin-Lin's quite the character, though. Oh, she's really been a hit with the visitors. You could even say the business is bam booming.
Alright, we gotta wait a few more moments here. Alright, they're on. So let's go ahead and raid into Brett and call it a night. Next time we play, this game, we will probably start MegaZoo 2. We're just going to dive in now that we've finished all the tutorials. Let me just make sure that's the last scenario that actually says tutorial on it. Alright. Yeah, that's the last one that says tutorial. And it looks like all the other scenarios have to be played in order as well. So, if I come over here... Yeah. Time scenarios, it looks like I can do it in any order. I think the plan for this game is to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do the 9 more scenarios. We'll probably do 3 to 4 hour streams, do 3 scenarios each, and then we'll start MegaZoo. This will just give us a little more practice getting used to the controls and how to manage things. So I actually do want to play the regular scenarios. I don't think we need to do the time scenarios before we do MegaZoo. So let's have a good night. I won't be here tomorrow. Monday is Mario Day, so I'll have something for that. Have a good night. I'll see you soon. Let's go watch Brett play some Red Dead Redemption. And we'll be back with more zoo content probably later in the week. And maybe some more Lego too, but Monday we're doing Mario. Have a good night, and I will see you soon.